Scootaloo was ready for her flying test. Confidence swelled within her. It was bright day with the sun shining, not a cloud in the sky except for the top floor of the Rainbow Factory. It was swelled with storm clouds, but no pony knew why. Scootaloo was actually the only one to know what was in there. She shivered at the thought. I better do my best to not fail, Scootaloo thought. Scootaloo, time to do your test, the coach said. Scootaloo took a shaky breath and walked out. She stood on the cloud, ready, set, fly, the coach roared. Scootaloo took off, swooping in the air, and tossing and turning until she heard a loud snap. She looked over her shoulder to see her wing had almost snapped. She toppled over, falling from the sky. She finally managed to flip, landing on her hooves on a soft, fluffy cloud. She looked up at the judges, who shook their heads as if to say, "You didn't make it, kid." Scootaloo was devastated. I failed you, Rainbow Dash. I'm sorry. Scootaloo didn't know is that the horror was only beginning. The coach flew down towards Scootaloo. I'm sorry, Scootaloo. Follow me, she said, and flew off. Scootaloo slowly followed, her wing aching. They eventually reached a small carriage pulled by a pony who was all black. All right, let's go. I don't have all day, she said. The coach hugged Scootaloo and flew off. Scootaloo hopped in the carriage, having no choice. The ponies soon took off towards the horrors of the top floor in the Rainbow Factory. As the wind blew through Scootaloo's mane, she shed a single tear. It was her worst fear. An orphan letting down the one who took you in. She continued crying until they eventually reached the Rainbow Factory. All right, kid, hop out there and Rainbow Dash. After the pony said, she chuckled. Will you come to pick me up? Scootaloo hopped out of the carriage with I guess, if you don't get slaughtered, she thought happily. Rainbow Dash flew into the room with a lab coat on, which had shots with every single coat color and small knives in each pocket. Her coat was also as blood-splattered as her knives. She smirked, scooted towards her, cowering with fear. Away from her. Rainbow Dash? She said shakingly. What happened? Rainbow Dash laughed with an evil vibe. Oh, Scootaloo, always wondering too much, she said while smirking. Don't worry, I promise I won't hurt you, she said. Pinky promise? Scootaloo said. Pinky promise. Rainbow Dash said, a bit of a lie in her voice. Scootaloo smiled and followed Rainbow Dash into the darkness of the field. They kept walking until Scootaloo heard screams of pain and terror. She quickly turned her head to see the little fillies being stabbed or slashed to death with machines, blood splattering everywhere. Then a syringe came into the fillies' wounds and sucked all the color out of their coats. Beautiful, isn't it? Rainbow Dash said, while blood splattered her coat even more. Scootaloo shuddered in fear. But Scoot, this won't happen to you, only if you agree. Agree? To what? Rainbow Dash smirked and said, agree to be my little assistant. Scootaloo looked at her with pure terror, but she thought, I would live and impress Rainbow Dash. I'll do it. Scootaloo nodded as to say yes to Rainbow Dash's request. Rainbow Dash smirked and said, I lied, little Scoots. And with that, a butcher knife was thrown at Rainbow Dash. Caught in her mouth, Scootaloo was backing away until her hoof slipped and was holding on the edge of the ramp. The insane pony approaching her while the grinding machine that made the rainbows was right under Scootaloo. No pony breaks a Pinkie Pie promise, Scootaloo shouted. Rainbow Dash chuckled and slashed Scootaloo's hoof, forcing her to let go of the ramp. Falling into the machine, Rainbow Dash dropped the knife and said, every pony breaks at least once. And with that, Scootaloo fell. The cold blade hit her heart as she was chopped into pieces, and as her color, it made the most beautiful orange in a rainbow Equestria has ever seen. Rainbow Dash looked at the rainbow and said, my little Scootaloo. In a rainbow factory, where you and your fears and horrors come true. In a rainbow factory, not a single soul gets through.